My name is Riti. I am an IPS Officer of 2018 batch and I hail from Patna, Bihar. My allocated cadre is Telangana. Currently, I am attached to the district of Karimnagar. So my UPSC journey began when I was in class 8th. That was the first time my parents ever mentioned कि बेटा UPSC के बारे में सोच सकते हो, you can try. Now it was very natural for them to say because I'm a Bihari. बिहार में हर घर का बच्चा एक बार तो UPSC लिखता है. So it's like कि नहीं, not at all, मेरे से नहीं होगा, way too difficult exam and I am way too lazy. And they dropped it. And there was one very good thing about my parents because they would never force me into doing something. They would introduce an idea but pressurize नहीं करते थे. So my mother is a homemaker and my father, he is an assistant commissioner in CGST. And I have a younger brother, his name is Nilesh Kumar. So my entire family, they have always been extremely encouraging about whatever I have chosen to do. They always gave me the freedom of choice. क्लास 10th में जब सब्जेक्ट चूज़ करना होता है कि साइंस पढ़ना है, कॉमर्स पढ़ना है, आर्ट्स पढ़ना है, जनरली होता है कि अच्छा स्टूडेंट है, अच्छे मार्क्स आए हैं, 95% अबव है तो साइंस लेगा, अगर आर्ट्स ले लिया तो बच्चे को पढ़ने का मन नहीं है. नाउ माई पेरेंट्स डिड नॉट थिंक अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दैट. माई फादर टोल्ड मी वेरी क्लियरली कि बेटा 97 आ रहा है तुमको साइंस में, लेकिन तुमको बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तुम मत लो, जहाँ अच्छा लग रहा है वो लो. सो आई वाज लाइक ओके ठीक है, कॉमर्स ट्राई करते हैं. Commerce, like I had a fair idea about economics. I used to really like economics and business studies. So I was like, ठीक है. What I did not know was कि accounts भी होता है. Accounts में numbers होते हैं. Numbers मेरे पल्ले बिल्कुल नहीं पड़ता. तो maths के लिए मैंने जितना struggle किया, फिर उसके बाद maths and accounts में class 11th and 12th में I realized कि ये भी नहीं हो पाएगा. तो ये नहीं करना है तो अब क्या करना है? तो somebody told me about law. So that's when I took classes in CL, Career Launcher, for preparation of law exam. And I realized, yeah, okay, this is something nice I can try. So उसमें भी first attempt में I did not get the college that I wanted. Because again, I was doing it along with my class 12th and I wanted to really perform well in my college, in my school as well. So because the thing with me is कि if I'm doing something, it has to be done right. So I was not able to manage both the exams. So then again, I took a drop. I got admission into CNLU Patna and I took the exam again. This time through CLAT, I got into NUJS Kolkata and through IELTS, I got into NLU Delhi. So I chose NLU Delhi. Now, once I entered into law college, I realized this is the place where I want to be. I fit perfectly in with the subject, not with the ambience, because I was from Patna and Delhi was a completely, cultural shock to me. For 1 month, I was only observing कि हाँ क्या हो रहा है, लोग कैसे बातें कर रहे हैं. Because for example, the medium of communication, English, I was good at English in the sense कि लिखना आता है, पढ़ना आता है, बोलना नहीं आता. Because नहीं बोलते थे उतना, communication skill strong नहीं था. Once I entered college, I realized कि यार knowledge level पे सब लोग same है. It's just that these guys can talk in English. So I was like ठीक है, इस पे काम करते हैं. So then by the end of like 3rd year, 4th year, I was quite good. And after that, when we entered the 4th year, that's when a senior batch, from the senior batch, a few of my seniors qualified the exam. And again, the chapter reopened. कि यार try करना है क्या, try कर सकते हैं कि some seniors have done. If somebody has done it, it's possible, I can get some guidance also. But again, वो thought ही रह गया and I left it at that. बिकॉज उस समय तक लॉ फॉर्म्स के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा चार्म था, बहुत एक्साइटमेंट थी. एंड आई हैड ओनली थॉट कि ठीक है, बहुत स्ट्रगल हो गया लाइफ में, जॉब लेनी है, लॉ फॉर्म में अच्छे पैसे कमाने हैं, लाइफ एंजॉय करनी है. दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड. सो ठीक है, वो भी हुआ. बट 4th ईयर में व्हेन आई डिड माई इंटर्नशिप विद अ प्रॉपर लॉ फॉर्म खैतान इन बॉम्बे, दैट्स व्हेन आई रियलाइज्ड कि नहीं, आई डोंट हैव द करेक्ट एप्टीट्यूड फॉर इट. आई नीड टू थिंक ऑफ अ प्लान बी. So I had a conversation with my father and he said, if you're interested, why don't you just give it a try? Not like कि हाँ लिखना है, but try to get a hold of the books and just see if you can try, if you have the aptitude. So a cousin of mine had also just started his preparation. I went with him to Rajendra Nagar, the first time I ever heard of it, because my college was in Dwarka and the only Delhi we knew was CP. तो Rajendra Nagar गए, कुमार बुक सेंटर, वहाँ से फर्स्ट बुक खरीदी, बिपिन चंद्रा, क्लास 12th हिस्ट्री. तो वो बुक देख के पहले तो अजीब सी वाइब आई. वो येलो कलर का कवर, अंदर में बिल्कुल दोनों साइड प्रिंटेड, स्मॉल फॉन्ट, कि यार ये डिफ़िकल्ट है. बट आई वाज लाइक ठीक है, ट्राई करने में क्या जाता है. तो आई स्टार्टेड स्टडिंग थोड़ा थोड़ा. But my father then again said, it's not like you ignore your placements completely, because in our college, like, it's a 5-year degree, and by the end of 4th year, you're placed. So the placements were supposed to happen on 1st of April. So in February last week, March May, he had this conversation regularly with me. Don't just study for the exam. It's a lot about chance. Even if you work very hard, you're a very good student, it might happen that it does not work in your favor. So have a plan B and work for placements. So I was like, theek hai, that also makes sense. And it's not like they were forcing me. So I sat for my placement, day 0, 1st of April, 2015. Now, I had not prepared a lot for day 0. I prepared for like 15-20 days. But I ended up getting all the top tier law firm jobs. I had 4 offers. And that again, वो दिमाग घूम गया. वो होता है ना, कुछ बहुत अच्छा होता है तो आप एकदम से एक्साइटेड हो जाते हो. वो 4 ऑफर्स मिले, दिमाग घूम गया कि यार बस यही लिखा है लाइफ में, यही करना है. अगर इतने लोग मेरे को चाह रहे हैं अपनी फॉर्म में, मतलब मैं इसी के लिए बनी हूँ. तो फिर सारी किताब कॉपी कबर्ड के अंदर. एंड 1st of April तक मैं फर्स्ट बेंचर हुआ करती थी. रिलीजियसली नोट्स लेना है, पढ़ना है. 2nd of April से ऋतिराज किधर है? लास्ट बेंच पे. अब उसको पढ़ने लिखने से कोई मतलब नहीं है. अचीव हो गया, जो करना था जीवन में वो हो गया. तो ठीक है. अब अप्रैल के बाद हुआ मे लास्ट वीक. My internship started. So I had selected Amarchand Mangaldas, Delhi, as the law firm. So it generally happens कि once you are selected into the law firm, you do a mandatory internship 1 month का. When I was doing that, I started realizing कि the only reason I'm enjoying it is because एक तो thrill है कि नई जॉब लग गई है, and second है कि भाई सिर्फ 31 days के लिए 31 days में finish हो जाएगा. What if I have to do it for the rest of my life? वो थॉट उतना प्लीजिंग नहीं था. बट स्टिल उसको बैक बर्नर पे ही रख दिया कि नहीं अब तो जॉब लग गई है, अब कुछ नहीं सोचना. सो देन फिर उसके बाद वी वेंट ऑन अ फैमिली वेकेशन टू सिंगापुर. नाउ दैट जनरली क्या होता है कि बच्चे फॉरेन जाते हैं तो उनका दिमाग उधर घूम जाता है. दे आर सो अट्रैक्टेड बाय द कंफर्ट, द लग्जरी, द ऑसमनेस ऑफ अ फॉरेन कंट्री दैट दे ट्राई टू स्टे देयर. मेरा दिमाग उल्टा घूमा कि यार एक ऐसी कंट्री जो ड्यूरिंग इंडिपेंडेंस, व्हेन इट गॉट इंडिपेंडेंट, इट डिडंट इवन हैव पोर्टेबल वाटर. अभी वो इस कंडीशन में, एंड सच अ स्मॉल कंट्री. तो हमारी कंट्री में तो और भी ज़्यादा पोटेंशियल है. एंड so this was just one thought, but then I started comparing कि if I'm working in a law firm, I have to work very hard, extremely hard. But for what? I would probably be working on cases where and not also like proper criminal cases. Law firms are they have a lot of variety. Corporate sector, capital markets, and all of that. It won't be really serving a purpose, because that's what I had always wanted in life, a purpose. And that's when I made the decision that, okay, when I go back, I think I'll start preparing for this exam. Because this exam is a platform where if you only do your duty, just that, nothing more than that, you will be making a lot of difference to a lot of lives, So that attracted me a lot. Ki here I don't matter. I'm just one of the many employees in a law firm. And if I go, somebody else will replace me easily. But here I am dealing with the people directly, and I'll be able to make their lives at least a little bit easier. So I went back and I told my parents, I'll work for a year in the law firm, gather enough capital and prepare for a year after college. So like 16, I will start my preparation. But they told me, and which is something very important, once you get attached, once you start working, you get used to, seeing a big amount in your bank balance every first of the month, and you get used to a particular lifestyle, and you might, lose sight of the dream. So it's okay, we'll provide for you, you prepare, and, take the exam. So then, because I did not have any proper guidance, I did not have any clue about the exam, so I joined Wajiram. Now, Wajiram was difficult for me because I used to stay at Dwarka and mine was a residential college. So every day I had to take a metro from Dwarka to Karol Bagh and back just to take the classes. So 9 to 1:30 we would have our classes at college, and 4 o'clock I would get to the metro, 5 to 7:30 class, and again by the time I would reach back to the hostel would be 9 o'clock. तो सुबह से रात तक का टाइम हो गया. 9 बजे के बाद आने के बाद भी बहुत ज़्यादा हिम्मत नहीं बची रहती थी. मैक्सिमम 1 से 2 घंटे पढ़ पाते थे एंड देन आई वुड जस्ट क्रैश. मेट्रो में बहुत ज़्यादा लोग सोचते कि नहीं आप पढ़ सकते हो, बट स्पेशली वापस आने में सिंपल सी बात है, जगह नहीं मिलती मेट्रो में, आपको खड़े खड़े आना होता है और खड़े खड़े में धक्का मुक्की करते हुए 2.5 घंटे से ऑलरेडी दिमाग पका होता है क्लास में, उतना एग्जॉशन हो जाता है, तो हिम्मत नहीं बची होती. तो आई वुड कैपिटलाइज ऑन माई वीकेंड्स. सैटरडे संडे वी वुड नॉट हैव क्लासेज एट कॉलेज. But another thing was that my college was not very liberal with respect to attendance and projects. So we had a lot of research projects in the final year, and attendance had to be because we had marks on attendance. And I wanted to prepare for civils, but not at the cost of my college. I wanted to do justice to that as well. तो उसके कारण क्या हुआ कि my preparation was not up to the mark. So 16 के prelims में I could qualify the GS, but I got stuck at CSAT. Now it might come up as something very hilarious कि यार कोई qualifying subject में कैसे stuck up हो सकता है. But I had a fear of maths, you know, even when I was in class 11th, maths and accounts मेरे से नहीं handle होता था. And the thing was, I got really scared when I saw the CSAT paper, when I saw the digits, you know, just staring at me right out of that paper. I froze. There were a lot of 15 questions I had marked in my question paper, but I was so nervous that they are wrong. I did not mark them in the OMR. And they were all correct answers. So I did not clear it. And it was very, very heartbreaking because, you know, you've worked so hard. I mean, I put in my best. I really had put in because traveling and college and everything, but I could not clear it. Fortunately, my mother was there with me. My brother was there with me. When the results came out, by then I had already shifted to Rajendra Nagar because the college had ended. So they told me, at that time they only consoled me, you know, they gave me my space. And after another 5 days, then they started telling me, beta, don't give up, you know, we know you have the potential and you have tried, try a little harder, hai na? So that's when I started, you know, I was okay, I have to be in Rajendra Nagar for a long while now, and I started my preparation. Now I knew कि my mistake was that I took CSAT for granted and I did not work on my weakness, which was maths. So failure is when you do not work on your weakness. So I made up my mind कि okay, every day I would practice, and I did that. Now Rajendra Nagar comes with its own set of challenges. Managing the landlord, managing the neighborhood disturbances, the shitty food, electricity bills, and there are a lot of things. सो हाँ, आपकी आधी एनर्जी उसमें चली जाती है. एंड उसके बाद होता है कि यार आप अकेले पड़ जाते हो बिकॉज UPSC एक्ट्स लाइक अ फिल्टर, यू नो, द अननेसेसरी पीपल गेट आउट ऑफ योर लाइफ. ओनली रियल फ्रेंड्स हु एक्चुअली, you know, they have their best wishes for you and who actually want to stay by your side, only they remain. तो थोड़ा isolating हो जाता है. But still, fortunately, I had good people around me and I did my preparation. तो another thing about Rajendra Nagar is it can be intimidating because, you know, आप book लेने भी जाओ तो there are thousands of people you can see in the market all over. When you go for classes, वाजीराम के एक क्लास में there are 600-700 people. So my thing always was कि वो रेस का घोड़ा होता है जिसके साइड में दोनों ब्लाइंडर्स होते हैं कि बस जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है उसको देखना है, साइड में कुछ नहीं देखना है. तो आई नेवर यूज टू कंपेयर माई सेल्फ कि हाँ कौन कितना पढ़ रहा है, मैं कितना पढ़ रही हूँ. Because I always had this one thing in mind कि यार I'm different, you know, I'm very different from everybody else is different. कोई दूसरा क्या कर रहा है उससे मेरे को उतना फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. तो बहुत बार होता है कि लोग चाय पीने जाते हैं, चाय की टपरी पे जाते हैं, तो वहाँ पे कॉन्वर्सेशन शुरू हो जाती है, तुमने कितना किया, मैंने इतना किया, ये मटेरियल पढ़ लो, वो पढ़ लो. उससे जितना गाइडेंस नहीं होता है उससे ज़्यादा नर्वसनेस हो जाती है, इंटिमिडेशन हो जाता है, डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो जाता है. तो मेरा इतना सेट था कि एक बार जो सोर्सेज डिसाइड हो गए वही पढ़ना है, उसी पे फोकस करना है. एंड 2-3 पीपल आई यूज्ड टू बी इन टच विद ऑफ माई बैचमेट्स हु वर प्रिपेयरिंग, बस उतना. बहुत ज़्यादा गाइडेंस से वो मिस गाइडेंस हो जाता है. तो दैट हैपेंड एंड 2017 का प्रीलिम्स आई क्वालिफाइड. तो प्रीलिम्स के बाद फिर अगेन मेंस में देयर वाज नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम एंड द मॉक टेस्ट्स व्हिच यू आर सपोज्ड टू गिव इन मेंस, that was a little difficult for me to manage because I kept waiting कि नहीं syllabus complete करना है. Now that is an advice which I would want to give कि don't wait for your syllabus to get over. Start writing mock tests as much as possible. And then after mains, I qualified that. The interview It turned out to be the best thing for me because when I went in for the interview, I was just very happy to be there, कि मेरी इतनी मेहनत रंग लाई है and I have qualified, I'm there. And these people are sitting there to talk to me and all very esteemed people. So I went in with a big smile on my face and the first question they asked me was, Ritiraj, what are you so happy about? I was like, ma'am, I'm just very happy to be there. So Sujata Mehta ma'am ka board tha mera and I had a wonderful experience because they were very cordial. There was no grilling. I did end up almost fighting with a member because at that time Ajmal Kasab case was going on and he started on the lines of, and sometimes in interview, they are not exactly portraying their own thoughts. They want to provoke you. They want to grill you. They want to see how you're going to respond in pressure, whether you're going to respond or will you react. So you have to be very patient and stick to what you believe in. So I did that. I was honest. I knew that my answer might not make them happy. It might not impress them, but this is what I believe in and this is what I have grown up learning. So I stayed true to myself and fortunately I got very good marks in interview. And finally, when the result came, I got through and that was a big sigh of relief. Like when I saw my name on the list, I actually just shut the laptop down and just lied on my bed ki khatam ho gaya. And I was just very happy when that happened. And obviously uske baad fir parents ko batana, relatives ko batana, and it was just a very good journey and I'm very grateful that I got a chance to do that. So after selection, we were supposed to go for a foundation course training at, I was supposed to go to MCR HRD, Hyderabad for my foundation course and then onwards to NPA. Now, our foundation course was obviously a lot of fun because, you're selected, everybody is a fresher and they have come after a very grueling phase. So everybody wants to have fun and enjoy, have a good time and a lot of camaraderie is there. They have a lot of cultural programs to develop this bond between different services. And then NPA. NPA was extremely difficult. That was not something I was ready for. But when I was training, I would always think, yaar, ye jo kara rahe hain, iska kya use hai? Kya use aayega field mein? What I understand now is that all the physically grueling stuff that they made us go through, it was only to make us mentally strong. Mentally strong not to just deal with, riot situations, but also to deal with phases when you are stuck, when you don't have anything to look forward to, when you just have to wait, to develop that patience. So that is something which it all makes sense now once I'm on the field. So like the very good thing about this service is, I remember from my district training days, so during the district training, we are given charges, independent charges of a police station, because unless you understand how the one unit functions, you can't possibly be a good SP because you have to understand what goes on in a police station, in one police station, how the work is happening, how subordinates are behaving, how the people, what are the expectations of the people. Unless you understand that, you wouldn't know how to supervise it. So that is a 3-month period. During my DPT, that's when the corona first wave came. The lockdown happened and none of us had any clue. Not just us, even our seniors. We didn't know what to expect. But during that time, I saw that just because I was able to, facilitate somebody going from one place to another, allowing them because there were a lot of medical emergencies and all of that. And just because I would intervene, put in a word and, we were supposed to issue a lot of passes and ensure that the lockdowns are done properly. Because I was doing that, a lot of people, they were relieved, And even when you're dealing with the cases, for example, there were a lot of domestic abuse cases, just because I could listen to what the complainant had to say. बस वो सुनने से ही उनकी आधी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाती थी. एंड मतलब FIR फाइल करने के पहले तक ही दे यूज्ड टू बी रिलीव्ड कि हाँ हमें सुनने को कोई है, हमारी प्रॉब्लम कोई सुलझा रहा है. नाउ दैट सेटिस्फैक्शन दैट यू गेट ना, दैट यू मैटर सो मच for somebody, you're making a big difference to somebody, because people come to police when they are at their worst. So you will see a lot of grief, a lot of, despondence when people come to you. You have to face that. Now, the training at NPA, it teaches you to be, mentally very thick, that you don't let your emotions come in. You should be able to listen impartially and do the investigation properly. So that is something which you learn on the field कि okay, वो जितना दौड़ाया भगाया जितना मेहनत कराया उसका ये यूज़ है. Now generally people expect कि एक बार ऑफिसर बन गए तो बहुत ही लग्जरी वाली लाइफ है एंड कोई स्ट्रेस नहीं है, बहुत आराम से. It's nothing like that. Your training and your preparation is just the beginning. It's like step 1. There are 100 more steps that you have to take. Now once we come on the field, we realize कि everything is uncertain because you're dealing with the public. You never know, and especially for the IPS, you never know when something is going to happen. You never know when you're going to be called. You cannot have plans with your friends, with your family, because when you plan, you always know कि यार ये cancel हो सकता है, something might come up, I'll have to go. Like I have a habit of booking only refundable tickets now because nothing is certain. तो उससे क्या होता है that you learn to live with that uncertainty, and believe me, it takes a lot of mental strength, and the training does that for you. It makes you mentally very strong कि ठीक है, ये नहीं हो पाया ये कर लेंगे, ये नहीं हो पाया ये कर लेंगे. You understand how to make a lot of alternatives and plan for that. You can plan for your subordinates, you can have various courses of actions. तो वो एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ होती है. एंड अनदर थिंग यू लर्न ऑन फील्ड इज की अ लॉट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द पीपल अराउंड यू. यू नो, ओनली यू डोंट मैटर. जस्ट बिकॉज यूर अ गुड you're a good person, efficient person, doesn't mean कि आपका काम हो जाएगा, आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट अच्छे से संभल जाएगा. Unless your subordinates are supportive, unless the seniors are supportive, it makes a lot of difference, you know. So you have to understand the value of teamwork. You have to keep on encouraging your subordinates. You have to give them the confidence that you're there behind them, you're standing behind them, and you'll, be there for them. And you have to encourage them. Similarly, you have to always keep your seniors in the loop. You have to give them the confidence that yes, you are capable of handling a situation. So a lot of practical skills, that is what you learn when you're on the field, because that is not something that training can teach. This is something that you learn with experience once you're on the field. So I think that is very important. And basically when we're preparing it's a tunnel vision. We only see the result date कि अच्छा result आ जाएगा and that's it. That's what I also did. But after that, you broaden your horizons when you come onto the field after the training, because there's this entire world out there and you will deal with a lot of situations you are not trained for. And the response that you give at that time, that determines the kind of officer that you are. So guys, I would want to wish you all the very best for your preparation. And it's okay to be nervous, it's okay to be down on your knees. Don't expect yourself to be a superman. You're humans after all. So accept your feelings, whatever you're feeling, vent it out, write it down. Don't become a pressure cooker जो कभी भी फट सकता है. And prepare with your heart, be happy about it. That always remember why you chose to do this, why you chose to start the preparation, because that is what will give you strength when nothing else will. And I really hope all of you make it through the exam, and I can see you one day as one of the amazing officers working for the country.